So welcome friends, welcome to Jnanjyoti Education. Now you know that prelims is going to be conducted on 25th May 2025 and we have very few days to actually prepare for this prelims thoroughly. And the most important thing that we have to understand that we cannot crack prelims if we do not have a strategy. What does strategy means? Strategy means that you need to understand which are the prime and the most important topics that are going to appear in the prelims. And what is the key? The key is to analyze the past year's question paper and prepare those topics accordingly. So we have brought a strategic video. Yes friends, we have brought a strategic approach so that you can crack the prelims in 2 months. Now, who are going to benefit from this video? People who have sincerely and seriously prepared for the past 1 year and have thorough knowledge regarding UPSC is definitely going to get the benefit the most. Some people who have definitely tried hard, prepared their topics, but have not, but are lacking with a strategy, are definitely also going to get benefit from this video. Now I have listed down what are the prime and the most important topic that you have to prepare for the UPSC 2025 prelims test. Now you need to understand that whatever I am listing down, this you can get in the form of PDF. You only need to contact on this number. The numbers that are appearing on your screen, you can call them, you can WhatsApp, and definitely you will get PDF of this video, PDF of this PPT, and you can definitely have this topic listing at your hand. So let us start our video without any delay. Now you are already knowing that we have two papers, GS1 that is the general studies paper and GS2 that is the CSAT. Okay, you are already aware with the nature of the examination. Now through this slide I only want you to make you aware that there is a 1/3 negative marking. Okay, each and every question for this GS1 paper is 2 marks and each and every question of this GS2 that is CSAT is of 2.5 marks. You need to be very much aware that the mark is 1/3 and negative is going to be 1/3 of the total marks. So if I calculate around what would be the negative marks, it would be 0.6 approximately, and here negative would be 0.8. So you do not miscalculate your attempts, you do not miscalculate your paper, and definitely you have a clear strategy keeping in the mind the 1/3 negative. That's a warning, that's a kind of awareness I am giving you that whenever you are going for the paper, the 1/3 negative mark is going to affect you in both the papers and you have to manage accordingly. Okay, let us now see what are the different subjects that we need to prepare, and there is definitely few suggestions that I am going to give. Okay, so let us start with first paper or the first subject, that is history. What are the topics that we are going to prepare in the history? History is going to consist of ancient India. History is going to consist of medieval India, and while preparing an ancient India, I have also considered another topic, that is art and culture. Okay, these three topics I have covered together and they are going to help you to understand what is the nature of the subject. Okay, and then there is another important topic, that is modern Indian history, that is definitely going to be there in the mains examination also. So ancient India, medieval India, art and culture, modern Indian history. Now let me give you a quick analysis. Okay, if we point out, there are only few aspects or few points from which UPSC have consistently asked questions. Now see, these topics are something that you should understand, because these topics should be your prime important priority list for the next 2 or 2.5 months that you have at your disposal. Now you need to understand that ancient, medieval and art and culture, this can be clubbed together. Okay, if you see the past 5 years analysis, or even if you see the past 10 years analysis, you will find that this topic is coming at a little bit difficult level. So the questions range from moderate to difficult. There are very few questions that are definitely going to be easy one. Now while preparing these topics, that is preparing ancient India, medieval India and art and culture history, you need to understand that few aspects and few areas are also, few themes are there, few topics are there from where the questions have been asked repeatedly. Now these topics are in front of your screen. Okay. Now when I talk about art and culture, total around 63 questions were asked. Okay. The questions are coming from Buddhism and Jainism. The numbers that I have written is the maximum question that can be calculated or included in the list. Okay. Then 13 questions are there from architecture. Okay. I am even giving you the priority, that this is the priority that you have to keep while preparing. Do not pick a book, because ancient, medieval, art and culture are not small topics. You need to prepare your notes for prelims according to this priority. So Buddhism and Jainism is the area where the questions have been asked the most. Then there is questions are from architecture from different areas. Then we have questions on books or literature. Then we have dance forms. Philosophy is another important aspect. The 6 Indian school philosophy should be thoroughly and briefly understood so that you can crack that question. Then few questions have come from painting, then music, and important places are something that are less in number. So decide your priority. Okay, I have already pointed out that the question will range from moderate to difficult. So invest your time judiciously. So these are the topics for art and culture. Now let us understand what is coming from medieval India. Around 28 questions. I would say a topic which is of low priority, because medieval India is around 700-800 pages of literature that you have to read. So this priority should be your least. Okay. Now what are the questions? Bhakti and Sufi traditions, the questions have appeared. Then questions from Mughal Empire are something that have been appearing. Vijayanagar kingdom. Then early medieval times, that is the early medieval kingdoms that you have to prepare. Then few questions are there from Delhi Sultanate, regional kingdoms too, and terminologies that is related to medieval India. For example, if I give an example, Rahat has been asked, which is a water drawing system. So such terminologies are also been asked, which appears in the NCERT boxes. Now understand, 5, 4, 4, 3, 2, 2 is something that I have put the range. So you can definitely prioritize what I can prepare from the medieval India. Now what are the topics that you have prepared? You are going to prepare from ancient India. See, there are only 4 points that you need to actually target from ancient India. And what are those? The IBC, where 4 questions are coming. Then the Mauryan and the Ashokan Empire, 4 questions have appeared. Gupta dynasty and significant place. Okay, if I give you a strategy, first 3 points, that is IBC, Mauryan, Ashokan Empire and Gupta dynasty is what you need to prepare thoroughly. Pick up those themes, pick up those chapters, whatever sources you are reading, pick up those chapters from those sources and do it repeatedly. This is the key to crack this UPSC exam. Just understand, it is not everything that you have to read, but it is the repeated points that UPSC is asking. So this would be your strategy for art and culture, ancient and medieval India. That's it. Okay. Now let us come to another important topic, that is modern Indian history. Okay. Here is the number of questions that have put into the range 15, 8, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 2, 2. Something you have to understand. Now see, where are the maximum questions coming? From the British Acts and Policies. Okay. What does the British Acts and Policies include? It includes the constitutional development. It includes the British administrative policies. It includes the British economic policies. At this point of time, I am sure that many of you have understood modern India. Now what you have to understand is pick up that key aspect, that is the British Act and Policies, and actually read it, revise it, thoroughly prepare it. Then another topic that have been repeatedly asked is the Gandhian phase. The chronology or the priority that you have to keep is from British policy to the downward side, the list which I have provided. Then another important aspect would be economic impact of the British policies. Then transfer of power. How did British actually give the power, especially since the post 1940s times. Okay. Then we have questions on Swadeshi movement, then socio-religious movement. You definitely few of you might be reading Spectrum, and we have a very large chapter. If you see, around 5 questions are there. It means it has a good weightage. Leave this miscellaneous, something that we cannot put or categorize. This is something that we have to do at last. Then we have left movement, working class movement. Then we have Europeans advent. If you see, it is the very first chapter, but priority is very low because only 4 questions in the past 10 years have been asked. So you definitely need to keep in low priority basis. Then personality based questions are also few. Peasant revolts and tribals uprising are also something that few questions are there, and definitely questions on chronology have appeared. So this is the priority list for modern Indian history. Modern Indian history is a very important section. Okay, you can actually take my advice, or if you have prepared thoroughly and analyze yourself, you can definitely go with those strategy also. It is only a guiding light that I am providing. Now this would be your strategy for ancient India, medieval India, art and culture, and modern times in your last phase of preparation before prelims. Now, another important topic, that would be geography, is going to be appearing in your examination. Now, geography, if you see the prelim syllabus, we have physical geography, we have human geography, Indian geography, environmental geography. These are the few aspects that definitely we need to prepare for our geography syllabus. Now, if I analyze the past year's question, then there are 15 points that I need to prepare thoroughly for geography. The topmost priority is definitely going to be climatology. Now, if we see our NCERT, Fundamentals of Physical Geography, the first chapter or the first section is something that starts with geomorphology. Now, climatology comes second, but in priority or in asking or in the UPSC's paper, climatology appears the most. So, first point that you have to prepare is understanding climate thoroughly at conceptual basis, at factual basis. Even some important areas that have been identified in NCERT, climatology will also include a book called as India Physical Environment, that is class 11th NCERT is also to be prepared. Then second most important question or second most important block that UPSC is asking is the Indian drainage system. We need to briefly prepare. We need to understand different rivers. We need to understand different river and its main tributaries, because repeatedly questions have been asked on rivers and its tributaries. Then definitely the question is on Indian physiography. Repeatedly the number of questions have increased, and map based question, if I take an average for past 3 years, around 4 to 5 questions. This would be also a 5-star area that you need to prepare, because maximum question are map based. Map based question will not be appear only from geography subject, but international relations, international map locations can also be included. Then we have Indian economic geography, that is resources, industries. Then we have agriculture, that is crops production, crops condition for its growth. Then we have another important topics, oceanography. And if you see, geomorphology appears to be at low priority. The first section, that is geomorphology, is to be prepared on something later stage, you have to understand. Then we have something related to world economic geography, that is world area, something related to current affairs we can say. Then world drainage system is also a theme that you have to understand. World mapping, world related rivers is something that we can definitely identify. Then vegetation related to India, we have to prepare the vegetation classification. And if you see in vegetation specifically, they are asking tree and the areas or the forest where they are growing. Then we have earth and solar system. One topic is definitely asked, that is apparent movement of the sun, that can be included in climatology, or it can be even identified here, is a repeatedly asked theme from the past 3 to 5 years. Then some questions have definitely come from soil, that is, and some questions from biogeography and water resources. So these are the 15 themes, I would say, that is what you have to keep in mind. Okay, this might not be a specific topic, but you have to understand these are even the themes that you can include while preparing for geography as a subject. Now moving on, we have another important section, that is environment. Okay, and now while preparing for environment, I want to give you a brief understanding that what was the weightage of environment since 2015. You can see 17, 20, 15, 11, 21, 19, 20, then we have 19, 16, 20, environment is highly weighted topic. Few of the topics from geography definitely can be included in environment, but environment, if I take an average, approximately 15 questions are appearing. 15 into 2, around 30 marks is something that you are going to get from environment. So this is an area where you cannot neglect at all. And when I am targeting environment, what are the topics that we are going to prepare for this environment? Let us list and let us understand it one by one. We have to understand that whatever I have arranged is chronological order. The first point that you have to understand, the first theme that you have to prepare is biodiversity. Biodiversity, the way the biodiversity is to be understood from all perspective, the meaning, the way in which it is measured, the areas where it is conserved. Biodiversity will also include animal species, plant species, vegetation, because if you see 40 questions have been asked from the past 10 years. It means on an average 4 questions are there. We cannot neglect. So the first point that you have to prepare is biodiversity. Definitely you might be preparing biodiversity from the standard sources. You might be picking this subject from your class notes or from the books like Shankar IS. The first chapter that you have to read now is biodiversity. Prepare it thoroughly. You have to even include biodiversity with current affairs. Then another important, convention and organization. International NGOs, organizations such as IUCN, organizations such as CATS, organizations such as Tiger Alliance, organizations related to snow leopard, organizations such as MICE, organizations such as WWF, all organizations should be thoroughly prepared. You need to prepare actually one page note with headquarters, with aims. Is it an NGO? Is it an intergovernmental organization? Because we cannot afford to miss a single aspect regarding it. Because any static data is definitely going to be appeared. They are going to make it wrong and help you to actually get wrong questions. Therefore, you need to understand that whenever you are doing conventions and organization, you have to keep the priority. All the laws and the policies related to environment, laws such as Biodiversity Act, Wildlife Protection Act, laws which are related to air pollution, water pollution, laws which are related to biodiversity conservation, laws which actually declare national parks are to be understood. Programs such as Man and Biosphere Program, Biosphere areas, all the 18 biosphere, Ramsar conventions, all should be thoroughly understood. You need to understand what is the chronology in convention. You need to understand what has happened since 1972, 1992, 2002, 2012, all the major conventions, Paris climate change, the recent happening, and should be thoroughly prepared from 2018 conventions. Then we have pollution. Okay, now see here, pollution, which is also fetching high weightage, need to be understood in 3 aspects. First thing is you must concentrate on pollutant, because pollution is a simple concept. Second thing is you must prepare the programs that have been taken by government to reduce pollution. And the third thing that you need to understand, that whenever pollution is occurring, any pollutant is causing what effect. How is smog caused? What are volatile organic compounds? What is peroxyl acetyl nitrate? What are primary pollutants? What are secondary pollutants? What are fluorocarbons? How they affect ozone layer? You need to actually understood thoroughly. So these are the 3 aspects that you must prepare on the pollution. Then definitely few questions are coming from environmental, agriculture area, and climate change. Now I would say climate change, which is also fetching 15 marks, is a very easy area to understand, because this is an area where we need to understand general working of the environment and how the climate is affected in the past 10 years. What are the decades that have been declared in United Nations? What has happened during the past 5 years? What are our targets in upcoming decades? Everything must be thoroughly understood. So these are few points that you must prioritize. In environment, then there is another section, that is unconventional sources of energy. Sources of energy such as solar energy, sources of energy such as geothermal energy should be understood thoroughly. Protected areas, very, very important areas. Protected areas such as national parks, protected areas such as biosphere reserve, protected areas such as wildlife sanctuary, and the most important species in it should be actually understood, because match the following pairs is something that is going to trouble you if you do not prepare this factual data easily. And I would say, if anyone sincerely and seriously preparing will make a one-page note and is going to revise before the prelims, so that he actually mug up that data and get his questions correct. Then terms in news. For example, if you see terms such as greenwashing have been asked, so you should actually understand that what are the terms that are appearing and what is the meaning related to environmental concerns. Then ecosystem is a very easy topic, I would say, and forest laws is something that you have to understand. What is our national forest policy? What is our target? What does the Indian State Forest Report says? You have to prepare those topics thoroughly. If you prepare on these 12 themes, your 20 pages note is definitely going to get you 90% questions correct, and yeah, definitely it is going to be a successful prelims attempt. Now, moving to another important traditional area, that is polity and governance. Now, everyone must be aware that there is a great source called as the great Lakshmikant sir's book, which is our source of preparation. Apart from that, definitely it might be your class notes. So whatever you are preparing, now Lakshmikant book is not something, a small book that we can prepare thoroughly. Now this book needs to be prioritized, and definitely what are the points that we are going to prepare from this book. Now see, the very first point that I have written is governance. So governance is an open-ended topic. This is something that will depend on your current affairs preparation. So governance is a priority area, or I would say first go for current affairs where you will target unconventional points. But from after that, there are few conventional points. See, the next area that you should target is preparing FR, FD and DPSP thoroughly, because if you see 28 questions have appeared from the past 10 years, and 28 divided by 10, if I do, around 3 questions have definitely coming from these 3 chapters, and in any case we cannot get that question wrong. Then question comes from parliament, and parliament is something that appears in the book in the later on stage. So you need to understand that now first pick those 2 chapters, FR, FD, DPSP as a block and parliament as a block, and prepare it. Then we have government initiatives and scheme. Then we have Indian judiciary with 10 questions appearing averagely. Then questions on executive, salient features of Indian constitution, state legislature is something that you have to prioritize. After that, few important amendments that have come. Then questions on preamble are coming. Then evolution and making of constitution. If you see, this topic can be interpreted in history also, in polity also. Then questions have come on center-state relation, local government, election, political system. Now here 11 questions have coming, so this is also a priority point. I have put it later, but you need to understand it's a important political system. That is, what do you understand by parliamentary system? What do you mean by presidential system? What are their benefits? What are their characteristics? Needs to be prepared thoroughly, because this have even appeared in mains. Then we have constitutional bodies. See, constitutional, non-constitutional bodies is a huge area, but the number of questions that are coming are very few. Then only 1 questions have come from citizenship, and citizenship is something that we have to prepare at a very basic level. So if we prepare these 17 points, definitely we are in a good position that we have covered priority section. After that, whatever is left, you can cover it. So but prioritize this 17 section thoroughly. Then coming to a very important section, very important chapter, which is also going to be your key area, key subject if you have to crack the prelims, and that is the economy subject. Now see, economy is something that depends on your understanding. It is going to be application based, but still if we analyze past 10 years paper, definitely we have prioritized few chapters for you. The first thing is understanding national income, then money and its supply, monetary policy framework, banking system, digital payment system, inflation, fiscal policies, budgeting, external trade and balance of payment, financial market and instrument. Now see, deliberately I have not put marks because it is highly difficult to actually qualify a topic from a particular question from a particular topic. But if I talk about macroeconomics, these are the key areas that I need to prepare. I need to thoroughly understand concepts of GDP, GNP, I need money and its supply. Types of money measurement is a repetitive theme. That is M0, M1, M2, M3, M4. What is the different provisions? If I take money from this and put it somewhere else, what the effects is going to be? These are the few conceptual questions that you have to prepare thoroughly. Then monetary policy framework, banking system and regulation, questions related to NBFC, banking properties, RBI are repeatedly coming. Digital payment system and their properties. Inflation is something that is their favorite area. What happens when what steps we are going to do when inflation becomes high? What steps we are going to do when inflation is going to be low? What is counter-cyclical policy? What is business cycle? Is something that is related to concept. Fiscal policies and budget is something that is a repeated theme. Balance of payment, external trade is also something that have been repeatedly asked by UPSC. And financial market and instruments, that is capital market, money market, have also been asked. Now if I move further, in Indian economy, the another important point is land reforms. This point can be even included in history. Then topics related to agriculture and policies have been asking. Topics related to industrial development, infrastructure, energy and power sector, economic planning strategies, a very static topic, that is 1991 reforms, poverty and social welfare, human capital development and skill training, and labor market and employment trends. This is something that you can understand is a general understanding from current affairs. Okay. Social security and welfare programs, quality assurance standardization, digital transformation and e-governance. These all will be your part of current affairs. So whenever I am talking about Indian economy, current affairs is that something that you have to prioritize. Okay. Past 1 year is something that you will actually prioritize. It is all matters of priority. You need to understand anything under the sun will come under UPSC. But priority is that we have to set, and priority is that is going to save in this game of prelims. And from past 10 years, 2 topics from microeconomics which we do not study for UPSC have been asked. That is, what do you mean by opportunity cost and principles of demand and supply have definitely been asked. So microeconomics, if someone have definitely made a list, or if you get a gist of all the terms that are included in microeconomics, I would say they would not span more than a page, and that can be definitely your savior if a definition of if a concept from microeconomics come. So this would be your list for doing economy, and this would be your priority. Further moving, now let us understand another important section that have been repeatedly asked is science and technology. What are the topics that have to be covered? Of course, basic science, that is 6th to 12th, is definitely advised, but it becomes troublesome. So what you do, understand your basic science from 6th to 10th at least, and for 12th biology NCERT do few chapters, because questions from environment, questions related to environmental concepts have been asked from 12th biology NCERT, that is chapter 9 onwards. Now we have space and defense technology, biotechnology, nanotechnology, IT communication and health disease are something key sectors that have been coming from science sector. Okay. So if I have identified this theme, what are the topics that you are going to prepare? Understand the most important fundamental science related question. We have something that is coming from practical daily applications, such as if you see the past year's question, the concepts on virtual reality and augmented reality have been asked. That is something that we are visiting this application in daily life. Questions on human disease have been asked. Matter and its properties, 2 questions have been coming. Astronomical science, science technology related governance, some policies have been coming. Microbial studies, immune system, genetics and evolution. If you see, 1 or 2 questions are definitely coming. So if you are thorough with fundamental science, this is area you can definitely do. But I would say at this point of time, there should be only revision. If you have not at all read this topic, then do not go for it. Try other areas where you can excel. Now if I talk about science and technological advancement, the maximum questions that have come is from biotechnology and digital and information system. So biotechnology is something that you have to target. Questions such as digital public key infrastructure which has IT related questions, you must be aware of this recent happenings. You should be aware about this recent technology. Then we have questions from space exploration, questions from communication system, electronic gadgets and devices, nanoscience and nanotechnology is an upcoming area, I would say, defense and military technology, medical and healthcare, and energy solutions and technology. So whenever you are reading current affairs, okay, you need to understand that these are the topics that are of low priority, but something high priority of science and technology will include the first 4 points, I would say, and in that also I would say IT and biotechnology related are the most important factors. We have seen that in the past, even information technology related virus, information technology related development have been coming. Even if you see in mains also, they are emphasizing on this development only. Cyberdome project, which is an technological development, have been asked in the mains exam too. So what should we do for science and technology? Now this would be your priority area that you need to cover. Now further, if you see current affairs also need to be covered, and current affairs, national and international events definitely should be covered from any important magazine or important source that you are consistently reading from the past 1 year. Government schemes and reports is also something that you can cover, and international relations and organization would be your priority areas. So from this, if I say this is a theme and these 2 points are something that are specific, so first go for point number 2 and point number 3, because government schemes is something that is in the news, and reports you have to actually mug up. International relations and organization is their favorite area, and then would becoming the national and international events, because many events, many aspects can be covered. Okay, so this is the important priority list that I have actually made from best of my knowledge. Now if you need this PPT in the PDF format, what you have to do, you have to call on any one of this number, you can WhatsApp and PDF would be sent, so that during your preparation you would have this list in hand with you and you can prioritize your study. So guys, best of luck and give your best for this prelims 2025, and thank you.